Greetings and welcome to this episode of the Heal and Restore
The
podcast
Heal and Restore podcast.
with your host, me, Randy Boyd, and of course, the hostess with the mostest and the better half of myself, Cathy.
Are you trying to sound like Wolf? What was
No, I can't. That's Wolfman Jack.
Wolfman Jack.
Yeah,
That's
Wolfman
it.
Jack.
That's it. Yeah.
Back in the 60s and 70s.
I was saying it might be in the 70s. I don't remember the
It was
60s.
in the 60s. That's when he started.
You have that low man.
During Vietnam there.
Yeah. You have that tone in your voice right now.
Oh, I do. I'm a little growly,
Oh, you're funny.
Oh my goodness. So, all right. Well, here we are.
Yeah. Another week.
Another week. First of all, before we get going on this, Cathy put out on Facebook a list of questions for a question and answer session.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been overwhelmed, and
Yeah.
we appreciate it. There's been a lot of good stuff coming in. So probably
The next few weeks.
next couple of weeks, we're going to come out. Probably be a two-parter because we got that
Yeah,
many
there's so
questions.
much content, and I don't want it to stop. I love a lot of
Right,
these
exactly.
questions. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage listeners, if you're listening and there is a question, whether it be family related, marriage related, relationship, trauma, recovery, addiction,
anything.
church related, anything that you are just curious about, or you might think you have an answer to, but you want to hear a different opinion or a new opinion, send us a message. You can send it to us on our at our email at healandrestorecounseling@gmail.com.
Right.
We'd love to hear from you. And like I said, we've got a lot of content. I'll be going through it. We'll be doing some research on some things, because a lot of the things that we share on this podcast, it is our opinion, but we do some research on it to gather enough information to.
It's been our experience and our opinion.
Yeah, it's our experience and our opinion, but we have to gather that information to bring it to you. So that's something I'll be working on in the next couple of weeks. But do reach out. It'd be awesome to do this, but I think right now we have enough for at least 2 Q&A podcasts. So I'm excited about it.
But it'd be nice. It'll be really nice. So today we're going to talk about, and man, this has been on my spirit a lot. I go over it a lot with people, but failure is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So there's a couple quotes that I come up with, and we're going to eventually remove the word failure from your vocabulary, and throughout we'll tell you why. But you learn from failure. You learn more from failure than from success.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let it stop you. Failure builds character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm just put this seed out there. How can you consider yourself a failure if you attempted to do something you haven't done before, or even that you have done before?
Right.
All right. So how can you be a failure? So I want you to think about that. Okay. So the difference between failure as an inevitable part of learning and the refusal to accept long-term defeat lies in how we perceive and respond to failure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So thus, instead of using the word failure, why don't we look at the word trip? Oh, I tripped. I tripped. All right. Yeah. So what does failure mean? Okay. According to the Cambridge diet, I'm dying.
Oh my gosh. Are you hungry? Or
no, I'm not. We just say breakfast. I'm not hungry. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, what does it mean, Mrs. Boyd?
So according to Cambridge Dictionary, the failure is the fact of not doing something that you must do or are expected to do. That's a lot. Expectations.
So that's the only way you can fail.
Right.
If you don't do it.
That's good.
Right.
I love that.
That's the only way you can fail.
Yeah.
Because if you do so, let's go to the next one. In other words, we can use it instead of failure. Other words that we can use instead of failure would be a letdown.
Yeah.
It was a fiasco. It was botched. It flopped. It tripped. These are all much friendlier words. Okay. Because if we've done everything we can to prepare for the presentation, the paper we wrote, whatever it is, then you're not a failure.
Right.
You might have tripped along the way.
Yeah.
You might have thought, man, if I only done this, or if I only did that, if I only said this, right?
Then they're done.
So we use those trips, not a failure. We use those trips as a learning point.
Yeah, that's good.
So what can I do differently next time to correct this trip that I got into? What, what didn't I prepare myself for? Learn from the
Yeah.
trip.
What did I learn about
What
myself
did you learn about
in this trip? Yeah,
Exactly.
no, that's really good.
Exactly.
So, to get started here, we're going to talk about this a little bit. Failure is an inevitable part of learning.
So we'll call
There
it
it is.
failure tripping.
Tripping,
Yeah.
failure, blotched, whatever. So the concept behind this, it's the perspective views that tripping, we'll call it tripping, as a natural and essential component of growth. When we try something new, or we're faced with challenges, which we all are, mistakes and setbacks are expected.
Absolutely.
We're not perfect. We're not going to get through it all in the first I mean, we might do the first opportunity. How much depends on how much you prepared, but these are seen as opportunities to learn, improve, and ultimately succeed.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's so good.
you would want to sit down if you're writing a college paper. You would want honest construction, criticism, and feedback from your professor.
Right.
If you're a pastor, you will want honest, uh, constructive
yeah.
criticism and feedback back from maybe some people in your congregation or
peers.
not in your peers,
Yeah.
right? If you're a public speaker or you're speaking on different things that nobody else speaks about, you're gonna want that honest feedback and constructive criticism. It doesn't mean you failed. We
No.
can always step up our game.
Right. And I
Right.
think we have to be willing to be open to receive it. I
Yeah,
think that's where a
absolutely,
lot
yeah.
of people go wrong is they beat themselves up, they shut themselves down, and they close themselves off to the learning opportunity that comes with tripping.
Why do they do that?
Yeah.
They do it because all their life they've been told they're gonna be a failure. So no matter how much they prepare,
Yeah.
right? No matter how many times they are told how good they are, if they have a trip and somebody goes to constructively criticize them in a loving way, there's ways to do it, right? Then they think they're a failure.
Right.
Oh, it's just what I was told all my
Well, I
life.
think too, that's exactly it. It depends on how
Yeah,
what environment they're raised in.
exactly,
Absolutely. And that's not
100%.
everybody, but a lot of
No,
people have
right.
had that experience.
Right,
So
and then sometimes that gets exasperated through life when they have coaches or teachers or aunts or uncles or pastors or other people outside,
yeah, of
right,
their environment.
of their environment telling them that they're worthless or,
Yeah.
come on, man,
Yeah.
you're constantly failing,
Yeah.
you know?
So let's talk about there's more to this too, as failure being an inevitable part of learning, and that's the mindset.
Yes, absolutely.
Embracing failure as part of the
Tripping.
process, tripping, okay,
Tripping.
failure, blot,
Right, whatever you
as
guys
part of
wanna
the
use.
process encourages a growth mindset. It focuses on adaptability, resilience,
Right,
and the understanding that each trip brings you closer to the goal by teaching us valuable lessons. And I think that's the thing. It's like I think it uses this as an example of riding a bike.
right.
How many times have we as children got on a bike, we maybe got two pedals in and boom, we fall over. Well, we didn't stop there. We got
No,
up because we were encouraged, do it again, do it again, do
and
it
we
again.
learn what not to do.
We learn, right, and so each time we do it, we learn more balance,
Exactly.
we learn the coordination that requires us to ride a
Yeah.
bike, and it gives us that perseverance to keep going through.
Well, and then think about Thomas Edison,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
He didn't say, I have failed. What did he say? I have just found 10,000 ways that don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's not a failure.
You learn.
learn something. You can, and everything that we do, if we look at it as being a learning lesson somewhere
It's an
within that,
opportunity.
it's an opportunity to learn. We want to grow, and we keep calling ourselves a failure or told them we're failures or we're failing all the time.
Yeah.
How can we grow?
Yeah.
So we got to turn the
The
verbiage
mindset.
around, the mindset around, right? You're not a failure.
No.
You got up there, you did everything to the best of your ability at that time. A couple things kind of tripped you up. Okay. So you're not, you're a human being. You're not perfect.
Yeah, and that's where it gets into the second part of this is that refusal to accept the long-term defeat.
Right.
We can't just do it once and say, never going to do this again. I mean, there might
Exactly.
be some things you might look at and not want to do if they're not real smart, but our basic things that we are learning and working through, the concept behind all that is that the mindset's about resiliency. It's about determination that we face in those repeated trips, those repeated failures. It doesn't deny us that setbacks
No.
will occur, but it asserts that these temporary trips don't define the final outcome. And I think that's what's important, is just because you trip, it doesn't define who you are, what you are, or the final outcome of what you're working towards. But the key is the refusal to let these trips be the end of your story.
Right.
And that's what's really important, is
It-
we
it-
can't allow that to stop us.
And if you're a Christian, nowhere in the Bible does it say your life is going to be rosy and everything's going to be perfect. So you're going to be full of trials and tribulations.
Right.
All right. And so if you go into everything prepared the best you can,
Yeah.
and you trip, well, why wouldn't you? The Bible tells us we're going to do it,
Yeah,
right?
we're going to have
So
to
it doesn't mean you're a failure. Okay. We want to get rid of that word failure.
And again, it goes back to the mindset, because the approach embraces perseverance, grit, and the belief that success is inevitable if you don't give up. That's the
Right.
key, if
Right.
you don't give up. So the mindset of pushing forward, no matter how many times you flop or let yourself down, we have to persevere through the process in order to grow,
Right.
in order to learn, in order to show ourselves that all things are possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
You know, you think about that with sports teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how many times do we see championship teams that have been champions for many years, and then all of a sudden they have setbacks? They start losing their games, and they're halfway through the season and they're still not on a winning streak. But that doesn't define who they are.
No.
Those losses don't define them. They keep pushing forward
keep
until
pushing
they
forward.
win.
We were watching that special last night. We got to
Yeah.
finish on the rivalry, the comeback team between the Yankees and Boston. Man, I tell you what, Boston couldn't buy a game against the Yankees
Yeah,
for many
this is
years.
back
And we're
in what, the
back in the
80s, 90s?
about 80s. I think it was back in the 80s,
Yeah.
right? You had Martinez, the pitcher
Yeah,
for Boston, back when he was playing.
yeah.
Some of the brutality that went on in those teams. I'm
boy.
going, wait a minute, this is a
This
get
was a
even.
big rivalry, and
Oh, it
you
was
know,
huge,
there
right.
was one big winner and there was one big loser that they struggled through, but they persevered
They
through it.
kept pushing through. The
Yeah.
players never gave up. They
Right.
just kept pushing. No matter how much they got ridiculed, they kept pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just never give up.
No,
Never give up.
no. If we give up, we never see, we never get to the other side. So let's look at some key differences too. You know, when we look at flopping, tripping, whatever we want to call it,
Letting yourself
down or others down. It's a learning opportunity that focuses on the value of the perceived failure itself. Each setback continues to teach us something that will help us in our future.
Absolutely.
You know, we think about that. You know, we talk about that with clients a lot of times when, you know, they're on a roll, they come and see us and they, you know, we're giving them the tools and they're working through some of their challenges. And then all of a sudden the brakes hit and they're struggling again. This is their opportunity to learn. What can I learn about myself? What did I do different? What did I not do that I should have done?
Exactly.
You know, so if we just stop there, we might as well just throw our hands up and just bury ourselves in the ground, because there's no opportunity for growth.
No.
So we have to refuse to accept the defeat, refuse to accept that letdown, because that emphasis is, if we refuse to accept that defeat, it'll emphasize the determination to succeed in the long run, regardless of how many times we struggle along the way or how many times we flip-flop along the way. It's about not letting those failures be the final word. And I think that's where a lot of people will get stuck, is I can't do it, so therefore I won't try again. But we can't allow that to happen.
No. And, you know, it's like, well, that, you know, Randy, what did you learn from being abused? So what do you mean what I learned from being
yeah.
abused? I mean, now I understand it took me a while until like into my recovery, but there was valuable lessons in being abused. And that is how I will not raise my children, right? You know, what am I not going to do? What am I going to do differently, right?
It's good.
I'm not going to abuse my children like that. So we can always look at, what am I going to learn from this, right? And when we can find ourselves in that, right? We can find ourselves, right? Then what happens is that we turn around and we start helping others.
Exactly.
Right. So oftentimes the question is, you know, why is this happening to me? Well, number one, it's a learning lesson. And sometimes we don't know the what the lesson is right up front. I mean, like me, it took me, what, 40 years, I think,
Yeah,
and I finally discovered it. So everything is a learning situation.
it's learning opportunities. Yeah,
Learning
absolutely. And the only way that
opportunity.
anybody can fail is if they just don't do it.
Right.
You know, if they don't do the task that's at hand, they'll never know.
No,
And to me, that's where the failure does, there's no opportunity to learn.
there's no opportunity.
yeah.
No, when you admit to defeat, you know, I'm like, again, it's like, if you look at the word fail, right? Kind of going into this real quick,
Mm-hmm.
kind of goes with defeat, right? Fail means it's the first attempt in learning.
Oh, I love
So
that.
that's the acronym for fail, first attempt in learning. Okay. Hey, maybe it was the first time, you wrote a college paper or you spoke publicly. Hey,
Right.
it was the first
Or you're
attempt in
teaching
learning.
a Bible study. I mean, we have people that I was one of them that I was, no, I don't have enough knowledge. I don't know what to do. Well, if I had never said yes to bringing women
Right.
alongside me and doing, this was during COVID, bringing women alongside me and doing an online Bible study for 8 months, I would have failed.
Yeah.
But instead, it was my first attempt in learning.
In
And in
learning.
that opportunity, I gave others their first attempt
Right.
in learning.
Right.
So I love that part about, I love that acronym for fail.
And
So
then the acronym for END means effort never dies.
mhm,
As long as you're putting the effort in, it's never going to die.
Right.
The acronym for no means next opportunity.
mhm,
No, you can't do that. Oh, next
Hmm.
opportunity. Yes, I can.
yeah.
There's a new opportunity for it. It can be next opportunity or new
And
opportunity.
we've had that happen to us personally.
A lot.
It
Yes,
was
absolutely.
our no was a no, but it's like, okay, well, that's a no, but that doesn't mean it's forever. That means there's another opportunity.
Another opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
so good.
So the key of all this is to change your mindset.
hmm
Don't look at
yeah,
yourself as a failure.
no,
Never.
and don't look at failure as an option.
No,
It's not an
it's
option.
not an option,
It's
right?
an
Well,
opportunity.
yeah, I mean, it's more of a choice than an option.
Yeah.
If you want to stay stuck in that failure mentality, well, then that's what you're going to do.
Mm.
But if you want to get out of that, then just change the way you look at tripping,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, so good.
So it's not failing, it's tripping.
I love these
Okay?
acronyms. Boy, I can't even spit it out today.
Acronyms,
So
right.
that's awesome. So
So yeah, just something little. People, some of our clients, man, I failed at this. No, you didn't. You didn't fail at
I
that.
should
What
know this.
I should, yeah, I
yeah.
should know that. It's just saying I failed, right? No.
No.
What did you learn?
Yeah.
That's what we want to know. I'm not going to call you a failure. What did you learn?
What did you learn about yourself?
Yeah.
What did you learn about the situation? What can you do
Exactly.
differently next
Exactly.
time? I
So-
mean, these are all the things that, this is part of the beauty in doing coaching that we get to do, is that we get to pull those questions up and pull the answers out of people. And that's
Right.
what I love about what we do,
Right,
is that
exactly.
we are guiding people through the opportunity to change their mindset.
Yeah,
So it's all good.
100%.
I love
Good,
it.
good,
Thanks,
good.
honey.
Of course, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
that was a short and sweet one, but I think
Yeah,
an
it's all
impactful
right,
one when
yeah.
we start applying some of these tools as
Exactly.
well.
Exactly.
So beautiful.
So what else? We got some house cleaning as usual.
Yeah, we got
Mrs.
our
Boyd.
just typical house cleaning. We are still offering our 45 minutes, no cost, free to you, absolutely no dinero owed, 45-minute discovery session. And this is for men, women, couples, anybody that is struggling in any aspect of life right now. Let us know. We're here. We'll walk you through 45 minutes. We get to know you. You get to know us. We want to have an understanding of each other, because if it's something you want to pursue with us, we want to make sure it's the right fit.
Yep.
And we will work with you on most anything life related,
Yes.
whether it be your marriage, a relationship, children, addiction, trauma, things of that nature, that you're in any of those categories, or anything beyond that you're struggling in it. Maybe it's a work environment. Reach out to us. Let's connect. You can schedule and reach out to us through our website at www.healandrestorecounseling.com, or you can shoot us a quick email at healandrestorecounseling@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And I'll just remind you, if there's any questions for a Q&A podcast that you want to ask us, please reach out for us at either of those places as well.
Also, our 50% discount
Yes.
is getting close to coming to an end.
Yeah, we had it on our hearts that in 2024, we were going to offer a 50% discount to whether it's couples, men, women, for a 12-week session. And we are putting that out there that we are coming up on November. And so you've got a couple months. If you sign up, if you reach out to us for a discovery session and decide to move forward with a 12-week coaching opportunity, we will offer that 50% discount to you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, definitely there. And then we've got some books that are in the process here.
Yeah.
We've got our Heal and Restore our regular How to Heal and Restore Your Marriage that has been out for about a year now and is doing well and has helped quite a few people. And that is an opportunity if you sign up with us through our coaching, we do provide that hard copy of that
Or
book for you.
we're also offering a free PDF for people
Yes,
that aren't in our area or
Yeah.
whatever. So,
PDF is also available to you as well.
and then our second book,
Renewing Bonds.
Bonds, it's done. I'm just waiting for it to be uploaded on Amazon. So hopefully that'll be done before the end of this week.
Yeah, and we can get that pushed,
we
start
get
pushing that one
start
out there.
pushing that one out there too.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
our reviewer, before we had it edited, said it was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that to get those in those hands of those that want to renew their bonds.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so good stuff.
So is that it?
Yeah, that's all mine.
That's all we got today?
Yeah.
All right. So remember this, everybody. If nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does.
Yes.
Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Be blessed.